If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
If you want news and rumors that appeal, welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel. I'm your host, the Innkeeper, and this is our live call and talk show all about the Wheel of Time. And tonight, we're getting back to the TV show, breaking it down, looking really closely at every single scene of episode 1. No, we're not going to be handling it all tonight. If you ever watch some of our live adaptations we did of The Eye of the World, it's going to be like that. Like I said, like chapter by chapter breakdown. It's going to be like a scene by scene breakdown. It's going to be a lot of fun. And to do that with me, I'm so excited to have the gang, the live adaptation gang back. Welcome, Mary, Todd, and Natalia. Thank you all for being here. It's awesome to see your faces. You ready
Cheers.
for this? You ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
So ready.
I've got popcorn.
Yes.
I've
You've
got
got
my
popcorn.
dusty mug.
Mary, you're outside, aren't
Background.
you?
I am outside.
That's like, what is that, yard flex or something like that? I don't know.
A bit of a yard flex, yeah.
That's a yard flex. It's too cold to be outside for me, but congratulations, Mary. I'm happy for you.
I will enjoy it all for you guys. And
Thanks.
yeah,
We appreciate that.
Send me the hate. I love it. You know I love it.
Okay, we ready for this? So this is how it's going to work. First, I want to ask the three of you what you thought of episode 1. Kind of set the stage for where you were at. Then, for everyone that's watching, we're going to watch a scene together and then talk about it. Watch a scene, talk about it. If you're here with us in chat, we're going to be voting lots of polls tonight of what you thought. Should we keep the scene, cut it, or change it, basically, is what I'm asking the audience all night long. And then, if I remember, we're going to give away a mug at the end of the evening. We'll remember. Somebody, one of the three of you needs to remind me to give away a mug, or one of the mods. That's gotta happen. So, and let's see how far we get. Honestly, we don't know how far in episode 1 we're gonna get. 10 minutes, 15, 20. What's our guess tonight, Natalia? How many minutes in do you think we're gonna make it into episode 1 tonight?
Well, 12
You
minutes.
said 12? Oh, I thought you said
Yep.
well. I was like, well, tell us the answer. 12 minutes.
No,
Okay.
12.
12 minutes. Okay. I'm going to have a poll, everybody. I did start a little poll here asking everyone, about 200 of you have voted on this. How do you rate episode 1 of The Wheel of Time now? It looks like 45% are between 8 and 10. 49% are between 6 and 7. We got 6% of you at 4 and 5, and 2% of you that are under 4. I still think on episode 1, well, let me wait. I think on episode 1 I'm still in that 6 or 7 range. But it'll be interesting to kind of watch it this way and see if that changes any of our minds. Mary, quickly, before we jump in and watch our first scene together and start breaking this down, what did you think about episode 1 of The Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime?
I thought it was a good introduction. It was definitely different than the introduction to the Wheel of Time that we got in Eye of the World. But just seeing Moiraine suit up and get ready to go and the monologue, it was just, it felt good to see. as a longtime fan, and I was ready to go. And I was fortunate enough to be able to see it live at one of the parties, the one in San Francisco. So I was there with a bunch of fellow Wheel of Time fans. So the energy was just so positive, and so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just seeing it finally on screen was exciting, that part of it. And like you said, the way you watched it was probably rather unique in that sense of being around all the fans that were also really excited about it. Right. Todd, what was your impression of episode 1?
You want my initial impression of the
what was
very
your
first time?
What was your initial impression?
Very first time I watched it, I hated it. Hated it. I ranted really hard. We kind of talked, the four of us, and I ran it super hard.
We got all of Todd's ranting. It was pretty great.
Yeah. And so I had to kind of just step back, wait a couple days, and start over. And so that's what I did. And the second time, I liked it a lot better. I was much happier with it. Yeah. But I had to get my head right,
Yeah, for sure. I think that has been a common thing when it comes to book fans, is not everyone, but I see a lot of fans who liked it more the second time they went back and watched it. Natalia, you're the final one here. Final thoughts here before we jump into this and start breaking the show down and watch this watch party live breakdown.
I loved it. I was worried. As a reader, I was worried that it wasn't going to suck non-readers in, but I loved it.
Yeah.
Lesbian Nerdy said that the suspenders gave her life, and I worry that perhaps I'm not needed on this show anymore, because that about sums it up.
I love it.
So, Tal, you're going to have to wear suspenders at JordanCon.
Ooh.
I see this comment right now in chat from Twatter. Said, why did you hate it? Can you give us some examples? So before we do that, because this isn't like a Todd review show, although it is Todd's review as we watch each of the scenes. So Todd can tell us his thoughts as we break down each of the scenes. Okay, so for those of you who are watching on Twitter, Facebook, or Twitch, this is it tonight. This is all you're going to see. If you want to come over and watch the rest of this with us, see our reactions, and also, see what chat has to say, vote on the polls as to what you think about the scenes. Again, the format is, it's kind of our live adaptation format, but we get to do this for Rafe's adaptation, right? Before it was keep or cut it from the book, and now we get to kind of turn the tables and decide if we want to keep or cut a scene, or maybe change something that we see in the show to see how Rafe and his team did it. So this will be a lot of fun for us since we went through this together. I can't wait. So again, thank you for being with us on social media. This will be it for you. I think, Taylor, have you already kind of said goodnight to our social media folks over there? Taylor's cutting it for you. There you go. It's over for you. Okay. Here we go. Let's move to that. Taylor's going to go grab me some water so I don't lose my voice here tonight. And let's jump over, and Taylor set up this really fun thing for us here. So let's do this, everybody. Here we go.
The world is broken. Many, many years ago, men who were born with great power believed they could cage darkness itself. The arrogance. When they failed, the seas boiled, mountains were swallowed up, cities burned, and the women of the Aes Sedai were left to pick up the pieces. These women remembered one thing above all else: the man who brought the breaking of the world. And him they named Dragon. Now this man has been born again. We don't know where or to whom, if he was reborn as a girl or a boy. The only thing we know for certain is that this child is coming of age now, and we must find them before the dark does.
Okay, so interesting here, as we'll get that paused for us here. So I'm kind of curious about this. That was that first scene, that intro, if you will. I don't know if you call that the cold open piece of that. Now it's like, now I gotta like.
The world
find
is
out,
broken.
I have like too many windows open.
Men were born with great power.
Exactly. There we go, everybody. So maybe I'll go to you, Mary, for this first scene. You mentioned really liking this. Maybe explain what your thoughts are on, this just introduction to the Wheel of Time.
I was trying to look at it through the eyes of a non-reader, and just seeing a character give an intro, a monologue while suiting up, sheathing a knife, wrapping up some figurine in their hand, looking at a map. It just screamed, okay, adventure is about to start. Throwing on that really awesome jacket that I want, over the suspenders, which we all love, and then walking out with Lan, and just the overall mood. Something is about to start, and that's what I liked about it.
So this is for you. It sounds like, just from a form perspective, is this something you would completely keep? You think that this is a great introduction, maybe for new viewers and book readers alike?
I would say yes.
I'm seeing Natalia. You're shaking your head. You're dancing around. You also liked this beyond just the suspenders?
No, I loved all of it. It felt like she was armoring herself up to like really head off on an adventure she wasn't so sure she was gonna survive. I love all of the things. The White Tower I struggle with. It's a lot. I love the design. I love the starkness, I guess, but it looks empty. It doesn't look like people live and work there.
Yes,
but
right.
I don't know how you make that happen. So if anything, that's my only.
Yeah, I almost wish they had kind of gone and maybe given us a bigger shot of the White Tower. I don't know. I want to see something kind of like they're on their mission. This mission is from somewhere, but the one kind of just that room didn't really. I don't know. I wanted kind of something bigger. Like
That
this
said,
is...
they can't, because so quickly after the cold open, they're exactly where Leandrin is, right? And she's not outside of the White Tower.
Sure, no, but they could show. I mean, they could show that they're leaving this place on the. I don't know. That's the kind of like you said, felt small as I saw this in chat. That's the one aspect of this that I would have. I get it. Rafe talked about this kind of starting smaller, but they talked about this mission and the ice. You don't know who the Aes Sedai are yet, but I feel like that would have been an interesting kind of addition. I don't mind the emptiness of the White Tower. I wanted to see how big the White Tower was. Todd, is this? I know you said you hated the episode 1 the first time you saw it. Was this an aspect of it? What did you hate about this? Or since then, do you like this as an introduction scene?
Okay, when I first watched this, I was cool with this part because I was like, okay, this is them. They've been doing this a long time. They're obviously know what they're doing. They just don't know what they're looking for. And I think this is going to draw people in. So this scene I was good with. It was after where it really just skated for me. But
okay.
Yeah, I was good with this. And I love Rosamund Pike. So, her doing what she does it was good. I liked it.
Okay. I'm getting a lot of that from the three of you. Let's end this poll in chat here. Over 200 of you voted on this. It still seems about the same. 8 to 10 as far as liking or rating the episode 1. 45% of you said 8 to 10. 48% said 6 to 7. 6% said 4 to 5. And under 4 was 1%. So let me ask everybody in chat, is this a scene? I'll ask everybody here in chat if we're going to keep this. I'm seeing like some yeses already, but Mary, are you a keep or cut on this scene?
Keep.
Keep. Natalia? Keep. Todd?
Keep.
Okay. I would have liked some maybe tweaks on giving a bigger presentation. I don't think that's enough to completely change the entire scene itself. So I'll just ask this question to everybody. Scene 1 of episode 1. We'll say keep it or cut it. And yes, I'll try to avoid saying yes or no in the poll here. That's going to happen sometime tonight. Okay. So while everyone here votes on that, let me get the second scene kind of tied up here, and then let's see where Moraine kind of takes us here at this moment. Okay. Here we go, everybody. Let's try this again. See if we have any technical difficulties as we go. That would never happen around here.
No, professional.
Yeah, it's like Amazon's shutting us down. Taylor, it's
Wouldn't
not
be the first time
giving
I've
us
been
a play
kicked out of a
here.
bar.
I know, guys.
Dark dusk.
1 second, everybody. There we go. Here we go.
We can't die like this. You can fight them. Use it. Don't hurt him. It's not his fault.
Who are you talking about? There's no one else here. The madness already has him. You see what we've come here to do? It's a gift. You should thank me, really. This power, it's meant for women. And women alone. And when you touch it, you make it filthy.
Please. No. Please.
Sisters!
Please. No. Please.
Okay, so really, this is an interesting one to me because this is one of the ones I've always called out as something I didn't really enjoy. So I kind of want to ask you, maybe Todd, let me start with you here. This does have relevance later on. Well, we've seen episodes, the entire season. There's relevance to being introduced to that character. There's relevance to being introduced to, you know, what that character's doing. They reference this later on as far as what the Red Aja are up to. So it has relevance. This is one of my least favorite scenes as a cold open. How does this hit you now watching this and maybe as you watched it later on? Do you still think this, or do you like the scene or not? Yeah, give us your thoughts.
You going to me?
Yeah, you first.
I don't think it needs to be there. And I don't, looking back now and seeing how they did the madness with Low Game, I wish they would have played the madness up more in this guy if they were going to use this scene. But what really just irked me was Lan and Moraine standing at the top watching all this happen. That was just kind of that corny something that I just didn't like. You know, they could have been totally and completely somewhere else and that not have and not have been brought into this at all, you know. The whole saving grace to this is Leandrin. I mean, she's the only one in the scene that I really liked. Okay.
So you liked Leandrin in the scene. You didn't think it was like a relevant scene.
Right. I don't think we needed it. No.
I see. I see some people. It's interesting. I'm seeing, for example, Jason Enberg said the scene is okay, but it looks bad. I don't like the costumes, but I'm okay with the dialogue. For you, Natalia, do you like this scene as a cold open? For you've seen the entire season now. Looking back, does this scene hit you, as a positive or a negative when it comes to episode 1?
Listen, I loved it to start with. Now, having watched the whole season, this scene does so much to set up exposition. It sets up a cadre of weird women who do magical things. It sets up crazy people who talk to themselves. It sets up that this particular fabulous cheekbony lady is someone to be met, reckoned with. There are lots of concepts here. So I think it's a keep, and I get why people don't like it. But in terms of TV, I think it's good TV.
Can I just
yeah,
let me
go for
just throw this in here? After this was over, this is where my son said, "So they have to have the rings to channel," and that just was another,
interesting. Okay.
you know, kind of thing for me.
But for him, in other words, you saw that as a negative of him asking that question?
Right, because I mean, you know, he said, "Why didn't the guy channel? Did he not have his ring?" And you know, it was just one of those you know, I guess from somebody who's never seen it before, they make this big deal of the rings, and
Yeah, but they answer it. It's answered in episode.
Yeah, but not right here. So it just
so it just raises questions. It makes you curious. It sucks you in. You answer it in later episodes.
I feel like this is one of the ones that bothers maybe sometimes book readers more than anyone. You know, like in other words, not necessarily someone who's new to this. It's meant to be mysterious, and it is. You know, I saw Beth ask this question. Beth, thank you. I just said, what color is Leandrin's ring in that closing shot? Yeah, they did a nice something here. Although it's a dark red. It's a dark red, Beth.
I'd say dark red.
It's a dark red, but it's definitely dark, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I like that shot itself. But yeah, this is one of those that to me, from a book reader perspective, is like, I want to see other things perhaps. And I think that's what drives my dislike of the scene is like, oh, show me something else, because I already know about the Red Asha. I already know of this character, if you will. I know what's happening here, and I don't need to be told. I want to see something new, maybe. And that's how I feel. Mary, do you like this as a scene in episode 1 as a cold open? What's your thoughts?
To be honest, I don't know. Some of the elements of the scene seem cheesy to me. The rocks, the CGI, and I'm like, it's fine, whatever. This is just the beginning. You got to start somewhere. And you know, why could 4 women on horseback not catch 1 or 2 guys running? That part didn't make sense either. But the fact that, you know, we've seen one Aes Sedai who went, you know, the Moraine's exposition of they're looking for the dragon, and then you cut to this where they find somebody who can channel, and then you know, if it were me, I'm like, they just straight up killed him. Granted, they probably didn't, but you don't know that, you know.
Yeah, they do. They do that open to interpretation. Sure,
they do leave that part open to interpretation. Then you see Moiraine and Lan standing over them, and I guess we'll go over that later. They do watch it, and I actually did like that, Todd. So we'll talk about that in a moment. But you know, Leandrin's exposition kind of sets the scene for the Reds, or for Aes Sedai in general, and you know, it's very, very anti-male, and that I think turned off a lot of people. Whether it's you know. Yeah.
Right. Almost like, that was almost an immediate reaction by some who maybe were looking for that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But again, not necessarily something outside of the bounds that Leandrin, the character, would actually say.
True.
So, like,
definitely.
I mean, to me, it's like it definitely works for that character, regardless of how people.
And we get that later in the season. But you know, in terms of the you know, I don't know if this fits, but I don't know what else you could put in this place that does what Natalia mentioned, setting a whole bunch of stuff up. So
okay. So I mean, let's go back to everybody. About 200 of you voted on scene 1 of episode 1. Keep or cut it. 83% of you said keep that scene. 17% said cut it. So that's an interesting outcome here. Let me ask the same question to our audience once this one goes through, and then I'm going to go back to the 4 of us, see if we have any agreement here. And you know, before, we'd already decided to keep that scene, but this one we might need the audience to help us with, because we might be 2 and 2. This is going to be an interesting one between all of you. I'm kind of curious. I wasn't sure. So here we go. This one, scene 2 of episode 1. Keep it or cut it. I almost put yes and no. It's going to happen tonight. I can already feel it. Okay. So what's your vote here, Natalia? I think you're a keep, right? You seem to be positive.
A keep.
Definitely a keep. Mary, are you a keep or cut on this one?
Cut.
Okay. Todd, are you a keep or cut on this one?
I am a cut.
See, I am a cut on this one also. But I to Natalia's point, I get what they were trying to do here even going back and watching it as book readers. Now, for those of you that are watching, we'll do additional versions of this same kind of show. I'll bring in some non-book readers. We'll get a mix of opinions. We'll mix it up, everybody. It won't just be book readers, but there's 4 of us are book readers tonight. I feel like I'm going to cut this one. I'm not exactly sure. I probably would have preferred they just go right to the women's ceremony, honestly, scene. I don't need any more.
I don't know what to replace it with.
Yeah, but I don't need anything else. Like, we already got that first scene. I don't think so. You got that first scene? You don't need...
How do you have reds? You don't have factions. You know that Moiraine is blue. You don't know her name, but you know she's wearing a specific color.
Yes, that's true, but I don't think you need to do that. I'm just like Rafe's point. He tried to start small and build everyone into this knowledge. I think it's okay to build that knowledge in later when they do it. I think the idea of... I think when you actually see Leander, and I think at the end of episode 3, I think that's okay. I think that the build-up of who that person is and that there are factions happens there. I don't think that necessarily this one is necessary. That's how I'm feeling about it right now, at least. But I get what you're saying, Natalia.
Maybe in 3 and 4.
I almost feel like if there'd been more fighting from him, maybe that would have, not necessarily killing everything in his path, but at least showing that he could use the power. Maybe that would have brought a
maybe
little
they
more
were
to
trying
it.
to make him sympathetic and make what the Reds were doing more horrific.
By the way, I'm seeing a lot of can we get a replace move options? So next time in the poll, I'll say replace as a third option. I meant to do that one.
No, if we have to choose, you have to choose to.
Chill.
You're like, no, you're not allowed to give them that option. So if I give you 3 the option, because it didn't seem like most of us were pushing. In the end, if we ever get a divided vote, we'll give other additional options here. We are seeing, so you know, the vote turning out. We'll let this vote go through the next scene here. But I'm not going to be surprised if it kind of stays here. So, okay, everyone, moving on to scene 3. This is going to be also going to be interesting. I split this one up. I know these 2 things go together, but I want us to actually examine. I know they're connected, but these feel like 2 distinct scenes, if you will. So here we go. Oh, probably should not mute that, everybody. You probably want to hear this, of course. You just have to wait. So it's not as smooth as you might want it to be. Here you go, everybody. We'll go to the end of that. Okay, here we go.
It's not him.
He was born 20 years ago. Almost the day the prophecy of the dragon reborn predicted. He's able to touch the source.
It's not him.
Where next?
The 2 rivers. There are rumors of 4 Tavir in there. All the right age. The old blood runs deep in those mountains. Let's hope it's prepared them for what's coming.
How do you feel about this one, Natalia? I'm going to go to you first on this. That additional kind of cut up to Moiraine and having them... I know you obviously wanted to keep that last portion of Leander in there, but this idea of getting exposition of like where they're going next and that they're going to the 2 rivers and there's 4 Tavir in there, and there's old blood.
That's all for us. That's 100% for us.
Yeah, so I saw this one. Beth said the shot is epic, though. Not gonna lie, the shot, that ending shot, I'll agree with Beth there. That's a great shot.
It's a great place to throw in a map painting of world building that they'll go back to and build in, but like it's a great place to throw it in and just add scope to the world. It also sort of implies like their communication as well. Like there's a lot passing between them in those two looks. And
but you just had them leave like the White Tower. Then you had Leandrin come in and like give us that kind of exposition of like, you can't touch this, is only for women. And then you have like for ta'veren. Like, it seems like a lot. Like I think we're just we're 4 minutes in. We're 4 minutes in, and we already have like the concept.
There are 14 books. What do you want? Chill.
It feels like a lot here. Maybe we go to you, Mary, on this one.
I'm sorry, you just completely distracted me. You said you can't touch this, and I had visions of the 3 red sisters in the background that are in the background doing the hammer dance. So,
so what do you think? Man. What do you think about this third scene? I know some people are like, oh, this is kind of part of that same second scene. Yes, it was, but it's just more them up on the cliff talking about where they're going next. What do you think about Lan and Moiraine jumping back to them and telling us where they're going?
I like the fact that they are standing up watching what is technically an illegality, borderline atrocity. They're supposed to be taking these the male channelers in for trial and gentling at the White Tower. They're just watching it happen and do nothing. That just, from a book reader perspective, that shows what Moiraine is willing to do to achieve her goal. And then, it's not him. Why is it not him? How can you be sure? And she's like, it's not him. And he's like, okay. She kind of gives him a little look, and he's like, all right, it's not him. And as book readers, we know it's not him, because if it was him, he wouldn't have, and this is probably Maureen's thinking, if it was him, this wouldn't have happened. He wouldn't have been gentled. So, there's that element to it. Plus, we get to see Lan for the first time. Yay. And then the last part, I would just take out there are rumors of for ta'veren there. No. It's supposed to be isolated. Nobody's supposed to know it's there. Nothing comes out of there but sheep and tobacco. And there's crazy backcountry folk there possibly, or stubborn Two Rivers folks. This ta'veren thing, that part can go, but the rest of it, nice.
I'm seeing the Bard of the Red Hand said, my only problem with ta'veren is that it's a made-up word that isn't defined for the show watchers for another 7 hours of TV. Uno's eye patch said the AOL ruins tips this scene as a keep for me. Katie Sensei said that showing of the ruins, though, I know. Lesbian Nerdy said, I gotta say this scene is one that is super well done, but I'm not a huge fan of it. It feels clunky to me. Bladen Stormchild said the looking for people of a certain age was key to that scene. Kind of, but Moiraine already said at the beginning, doesn't she kind of intro that? Like they're searching because of the birth of a child. So
it reinforces it.
Yeah, but 4 minutes in, like it just feels like just get us to wherever we're starting the show at. Like we don't need 3 cold opens, basically, to tell us that you're searching for somebody. Just get us there and get us to the place. It feels like a lot to me. I agree. I love the ruins, and maybe do something different with it. Maybe get us that ruin shot somehow. Like she leaves the tower and then it ends on a shot of the ruins or something. But I don't know. It's all just like
living in the ruins.
No, but like honestly, 4 minutes in, I think that's where I felt with this episode. It wasn't until I didn't really like this episode till the second half of it. And this was part of it. It was just like, come on, like I don't know. As a book reader, I was just like, get to it already, so.
I get it. I get it. I just don't see a different way.
Yeah, no, I have some suggested different ways, but we don't have to dig into that aspect right now. It's more just wanted to know how we felt about these particular scenes that they did choose to give us. Todd, where are you at with this idea of Moiraine and Lan having this conversation about where they're going in Two Rivers and ta'veren and who they're looking for?
I think the conversation is fine. I think having it just over the top of where Liandrin just killed a channeler is kind of, I didn't like it. Just because, I was just having a really hard time at this point. And like you said, this is just another explanation of something that people who don't know what they're watching don't understand what's going on, really. They don't know what ta'veren is. It felt pushed, I guess, is the best way for me to say it. It just was over the top and felt B-movie-ish, I guess.
Okay. So I want to put up this K. Richard J. Sorry if I can't show this on the screen. Our system was trying to do too much at the same time. But I will put this, or at least read off K. Richard's comment here. Thank you very much for the tip. Said, my non-readers were hooked by the Reds and reassured by seeing Moiraine again. Readers' complaints seem to be they explain too much or not enough. Can't do all 14 books in 4 minutes. Yeah, and that's why I know that non-readers and readers are going to see these scenes differently. And so this could be said for they were doing a lot of things that they want non-readers to go back and watch again and try to figure out and be kind of curious and mysterious about and set up villains really early on. Totally get it. That as we break this thing down, non-readers are going to have a different view of this. So I'll make sure that I get rid of these three my friends next time. We'll bring all non-readers on and we'll like mix it up here. But for now, our reactions are going to be very, and not even just book readers, like total geek, hardcore fan freaks right here. And so that's how we're reacting. Tonight's votes will be very hardcore fan freakish. That's for sure. So to
Why they came.
To the last scene 2 of episode 1, keep it or cut it. 54% said cut it, and 46% said keep it. So this one, let's end that poll here. Thanks for voting, everybody. Like I said, see, we're already like 45 minutes in. We've only done like 3 scenes. We're 4 minutes in. This might be, everybody, it might be like 15 minutes at the most, maybe 10. And you might be right that 12 minutes, Natalia. You might be right on that one. So
And we got to get to the 14-minute mark. There's a scene there I want to talk about.
I don't know I don't think it's happening tonight. Okay, so let's poll everybody on this one. Scene 3, and keep or cut. That's all we're doing for this poll, everybody. Keep or cut on that one. I know this includes that scene. You can't move out that final scene just for this one. Keep it or cut it. That's all you're being asked. I know it's like brutal, but too bad. It is what it is. Okay. So, yeah, and that's like I said, to K. Richard J's point, non-readers are going to experience this completely different. And yeah, I totally get that. That's probably something we'll see a lot in. And people are asking about this, by the way, in chat. This is full spoiler. I wanted to keep a portion of the show non-spoiler, but we'll go ahead and we'll just say this show contains book spoilers, everybody. And in chat, that means that you can, obviously, you can go ahead and you can kind of speak about spoilers. We're going to try not to actually spoil a ton of this for people, so don't go right to the end of the books. If we're going to spoil stuff, people try to be careful somewhat. And Steve A said, I say at this pace, you can keep going until season 2, recapping season 1. Yes, that's basically what's going to happen.
You figured the plan out.
Beth Weston said, keep for the panning shot, cut the conversation. I like it, Beth. I like it. Okay, so let's move on to our next scene here, everybody. This is the fun technical dance we get to do. Here we go.
Drop the bass. So pretty.
This braid will remind you that you are a part of us, and we are part of you. To be a woman is to be always alone, and never alone. So, when the dark surrounds you, and you see no light, feel this braid, and know that we all stood before you. We all stand with you.
As wisdom of the 2 rivers, it's my honor to welcome you to the Women's Circle.
Be strong, Egwene. Trust the river.
2, 1.
Boom!
So we'll stop it right there. My computer allows me to. There we go. We'll stop it right there. So, yeah, the push off the cliff. Actually, I remember that from the trailer. Like that, the first trailer starts that way. It was actually pretty, just the push itself was something we talked about for a long time. So yeah, let's go here, Mary. Back to you on this scene. This is the first time we're meeting this. We don't know who these people are. We're assuming probably from the intro. This is the 2 rivers. And what do you think about this introduction to the people of the 2 rivers?
I liked it. It was you know, you got to see the beautiful scenery. You got to see a ceremony, which kind of tells you a bit about the people, how, you know, they have their own culture. They have their own way of imparting knowledge. You know, it was, you know, what Nine said was very, you know, meaningful. You know, it's a rite of passage, which is always a big deal in many cultures. And it was about, you know, recognizing your own strength and, you know, yes, you're going to be alone, but you're never alone. And even when, you know, things are at their bleakest, know that you know, you have strength, you have power, and that you are not alone. And if that's not foreshadowing, I don't know what is.
Yeah. So I this one was really meaningful. I remember talking with Zoe and Madeline about this scene, this whole idea, the braid. We know how important the braid is. Like you said, the foreshadowing, this relationship. What a really compelling way to begin this relationship. I totally bought into this scene, actually. It was very much there. Todd, for you, I know you said at first didn't like episode 1 at all. You hated it. Then you liked it a little bit more, and then you watched it. And you haven't really been for keeping many of the scenes. Would you keep this scene of like the women's circle and meeting here in the ceremony?
Yes, this was in the trailer. So you know, from reading the books, you kind of know what's going on. They didn't really go into this in detail in the books about what happens, but they fleshed it out a little bit more for the show. And so yeah, I kind of knew what was going on, and I was fine with it because I guess because I'd seen it before. So, you know, this didn't really bother me. I was good with it. And I thought it was cool. I thought it was pretty. I thought Nynaeve is, you know, talking to her. It was great. I was good with this scene.
Yeah, you don't seem like enchanted by it as much, but you do seem to be good with it. I was a bit more enchanted by it. Like I really engaged me. I think this is why I don't like how everything was introed. This was good enough for me. It was like, start me here, or even after Moraine's like little intro where she walks out of the White Tower, go right to this. I'm in. Like, what is this? Who are these people? Don't tell me anymore. I'll learn it all as I go. I really love this scene. Natalia, are you a fan of this kind of intro to the Two Rivers?
Yeah, the intro to the Two Rivers is phenomenal. I love that you are still hating on the first 4 minutes of this show. I will say that because we say with these people, we needed the first 2 scenes. I'll leave that alone. This scene is epic. It shows us the diversity of the Two Rivers. It shows us these breathtaking backgrounds and scenery that I haven't seen since The Witcher, basically.
Yeah. No,
it was pretty.
That's right. The cinematography on these is great. The locations are great. Just actually, this is one thing I argued about Witcher season 1. I did not like season 1 of Witcher, like when it came to location shots and such. It felt kind of like we were just like in a studio somewhere.
Yeah, it was
and
very
this
small.
Immediately felt big. And that's, again, I know I keep on hating on the first 4 minutes. This felt like awesome. Like I love getting in this. But so I think this is a good start spot here. Would you change anything about this? We're about to watch what happens. I separated these things as like the build up to what the ceremony is, and then actually seeing Egwene go through it, which I think they're 2 different things here. So, so I split them up for us, but they're all part of the overarching scene, if you will. So, by the way, about 200 of you voted on scene 3 of episode 1, keep it or cut it. 73% of you still like that kind of exposition here. You were a keep for Moraine. I know a lot of you were like, I'm not going to cut that scene of the overgrown city, if you will. So, okay, let's end that poll. Let me grab some of the comments here. I think it's Gene Calvar said, I figured this was originally created as a train to channel ceremony that ended up being converted over time into a passage to womanhood ceremony. I think a lot of people like that call out, that this is kind of a ceremony lost in time, if you will. Definite foreshadowing people are bringing up. This is a Orchard Eater said, I think the scene should have been not the women's circle, but only a wisdom's apprentice thing. And the cut scene with the pool should have been the coming of age scene. We do lose a scene there that we don't get that is in the trailers when Egwene comes up out of the water and there's the whole paint thing. So it is interesting. Like if we got one or the other or both of these.
It also gives context for why Nynaeve was scrubbing the crap out of the sacred
Yes,
pool
right.
later. Because, like, why are you cleaning a water fountain?
Yeah, that part doesn't make sense when she's cleaning in there, if you will, like scraping the rocks. Adam, thank you very much for the tip. Adam said, I think Rafe wrote the emotional bit about Braid's significance in order to gift book readers with more Braid tugs. Yeah, again, bringing this back to the Braid, I think is great. Tams Loves Cat said, what? Don't you welcome people into your secret society by tossing them off a cliff? At the Dusty Wheel, new tradition instead of mugs. That's right. We're going to start tossing people off of cliffs. No,
That person's never been to Theoryland. It's fine.
People reacted. We're going to get to that here shortly, but the push off the cliff, I don't know. People reacted strongly against that in some cases. I didn't. It's like, I don't actually believe that they thought there was a lot of danger here. Like, people thought this was going to be like, I don't know. I did not. I didn't feel like it was that dangerous, even though maybe the music tried to hype that it was dangerous. Todd,
She's fine. She's fine.
She's fine, but anybody who thinks that wasn't dangerous has never stood on the top of a high dive platform and looked down.
Sure, okay. Yeah, my guess is this is not the only time she's ever been in that river, but I'm just gonna say that. Todd, what were you gonna say, make a comment?
No.
Okay. So this feels like already we're all keep on this one. Keep.
Yep.
Okay. So let me ask everybody, scene 4, episode 1. Almost did yes or no again. Keep or cut it. Thank you all for being here today and helping us through like our own judging of someone else's live adaptation. Instead of reading your comments about us cutting stuff or creating stuff, we get to do that for what Rafe and his team did. Okay, so here is this next scene. Let's jump into that. And this is I was always surprised when people got up in arms a little bit about this particular scene. That in a way that was
Were they non-swimmers? Like I feel like non-swimmers are.
That's what it was.
Scary. Also, it looks cold.
Definitely felt on the nose from a book reader perspective.
Show the break.
They'll be reusing this footage.
Right. I like the grabbing of the braid here. It's good.
I didn't notice the cut until much later.
Yeah,
I
same.
second
When
watch.
this
You
road
didn't?
was just a
No.
little deer path line.
I will
think
say
I-
it, like that was the one piece I thought was underplayed.
The cut itself, yeah. Okay, so that entire kind of obviously, there's this ceremony, but then they went for it, chucked her in the river, and had her kind of go down that, and obviously kind of gives us the whole concept of embracing the one power, if you will. And we see this as far as a river is concerned. So I liked, just as a book reader, I was like, I'm in. Like, I didn't really get into people's kind of like angst about like, they would never do that. And that's, so what do you, maybe let's go to you, Todd, to start us off here. Did you like this idea of seeing Egwene get pushed into the river and have this kind of be more than just kind of, you're joining us, but there's actually maybe some danger, if you will, or some quest-like nature to joining this group?
The second time I watched this, I realized that this is teaching Egwene how to open herself to the source.
Yeah.
The first time I watched it, I was just kind of like, yeah, I saw this in the trailer. It took another watch for me to realize what was going on here. So, I mean, Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it wasn't one of those things that just jumped out and grabbed hold of me, but it explained some things that we don't get out of the books.
Yeah, I like this as all part of this. In other words, this is I mean, I was engaged with this section of it. By the way, people are talking about the gash in the arm. You can see just the gash right on her right arm as she's holding her braid.
It's underneath
and you don't really notice it. I didn't notice it immediately, and then I noticed it later when Rand looks at her arm, I think, and then you see it later on. Some people had not noticed it. So yeah, there it is. You can kind of see it right there on this scene. Go back and do a zoom in if you'd like to get a closer look at that. Natalia, what did you think about this ceremony having this moment kind of being the symbolism when it comes to channeling with Egwene?
One of the chatters, one of the people in the chat said it was a really beautiful way of condensing the visual of Sadar.
Yeah.
And it is. I mean, it is. It's perfect. It's perfect. Jumping off a high-ass cliff is not safe. You can do it safely, but it's not safe. Going through rapids, again, can be done mitigating in some cases, but she's by her own self there. So
that's true. And there's probably a certain time of the year where they're like, stay away from this because it's more dangerous.
Dude, that water looked freezing cold. There was no way.
that
you don't get that color water in warmth.
No. I loved every people waiting down there with like a blanket.
No, she had to make her own wet ass back to the inn.
That's right. By the way, Christopher Anfinson, thank you very much for the tip, said, like the scene, would take away the women's circle bit, would cut the Taviran line, unless pool scene was a dream. I'm happy it was cut. Thank you very much. This idea, I actually like the women's circle aspect of it. I liked seeing them all there. I liked when they all stood with her. Again, that really... This plays against the whole kind of angst people have about Two Rivers being a bit more dark, if you will. As from a concept of like, people are like,
we'll get
you have the, what do you call it? Like, not like, what's the word? You have like Matt's parents and they're cheating and you have
trashy.
Like trashy is the word. Yeah.
Everybody
like
dies famous in a small town.
Yeah. Two Rivers being like a trashier, seedier place, if you will. Like then
it's not bucolic. It's not this bucolic, perfect pastoral,
But this moment
Shire.
kind of, if that makes sense, played against that for me. And so I didn't like that part didn't bother me, I think, because I saw this and there was this sisterhood. And so it didn't feel like, when it came to that other thing, that didn't feel seedy as, it felt like kind of like there's problems, but whatever, So I actually liked seeing that here because it set the tone for me for the town itself, actually.
Right. And what I liked about it that was different from the books, and I don't know if it was deliberate or not, is when we first see the braid in the books, it's Egwene taking the braid and putting it over her shoulder and Rand reacting to it and Rand reacting negatively to it. The braid is, we see it from Rand's point of view. It is a symbol of adulthood. It's a symbol of, oh crap, I'm going to have to actually marry this girl, even though I like her. But, it's viewed from the male gaze. Whereas in this scene, it is part of the women's circle. It is a rite of passage for Egwene, not for whoever else she reacts with, male, female, or otherwise. It's about her and her place in the Two Rivers. And that, I think, is an improvement.
Yeah, Koala Sadai said it's so perfectly show, not tell. I think the braid here, or holding the braid, and yeah, Tam's Love Cat said it's not utopia, it's life. Yeah, exactly. But what I'm saying is it reinforced this idea of just the kind of people they were. And I liked seeing that before I was introduced in the town itself. So I think it sounds like we're at keep here, but let me go through it. Mary, are you a keep this scene?
Keep.
Todd, keep?
Keep.
Natalia, keep?
Keep.
I'm definitely keep here. Yeah, I think this one was good. Let me go to the votes. About 200 of you voted on scene 4, episode 1. 87% said keep it. 13% said cut it. So let me add this next one in here. Okay, now I can. And scene 5 of episode 1. Keep or cut it? Let me ask everybody. Okay, we're already at 8:00. This is hilarious. We're never this, like you said, it'll probably take us until season 2 to get through all these episodes. But it's at least it's fun for me to kind of go through and talk about these. So hopefully y'all enjoy this. You'll have to give us some feedback afterwards if you like this format. Okay, so now one of the scenes is about to happen that I thought was going to be maybe what we would get as an opening scene, actually. So let's jump to that here and check this one out. Okay.
I remember when this road was just a little deer path winding down the mountain.
How'd you get the wool to town?
Carried it.
And the brandy?
That stayed home. Your mother could drink.
More wolves now.
Something's been pushing them down from the mountain. When you were just tiny, we'd let you out in these woods alone to look for berries. And you'd always save a basket of them in the barn to take to Egwene.
Sounds like I used to be a real sap.
Okay. Sounds like Rand used to be a real sap, apparently. I actually, this is a scene that I wanted to see as a book reader, so I was like, and expecting to see this. This feels, if this makes sense, it felt like one of the first, like, book scenes, if you will. You know, one of the book interactions that I was expecting to see between Rand and Tam on their way in. I wanted that. That engagement, if you will. But to you first, Natalia, what do you think about this particular scene? Do you think this is a keep or cut, I guess, when it comes to this adaptation?
I'm gonna say keep to all of them, but I really like this one.
I like how you're like showing your head. Here's my cards. Keep.
Like the show. I like the show.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Okay, so why is this one a keep for you?
Oh, so many reasons. The scenery is gorgeous. The props are so lived in and beautiful and beat up and real. The wardrobe, his sweater. Oh. You know, Tam, like, whatever. He's not the Tam I wanted. He's not the Tam I have.
He's not the Tam
I feel no love and affection for this man in any way, shape, or form, but I hope to get there. Rand is so beautiful. Yosha is the perfect casting. I just his cheekbones, and when he's pulling the arrow and it's like lighting, and it's great. I love it. All of it.
Okay. I love that you called out his sweater. That is one thing people talked about in like the trailers. I think we saw his sweater. Everyone loves the sweater. Mary, what are you thinking on this one? Is this a keep or cut, and why?
I would keep it. It shows, the relationship between Rand and Tam. The conversation felt natural, and they're walking into town and reminiscing, and then you get the little bit of danger. It wasn't the it wasn't somebody standing on a horse but it could have been, you don't know. Something's driving the wolves down. You could hear the wolves.
We'll get there.
Yeah. It's setting a few things up, and the conversation where Tam's kind of teasing him about liking Egwene is I could keep or toss that. I don't care, but it was fun. It was fun, and of course we get to see everybody's favorite horse. Bella makes her grand entrance, and can we?
I like the connection between Egwene, what you just saw, right? You're setting up a little bit of conflict here. You're like, okay, this is going to be an interesting engagement here, and who is this kid, and why should we care? You're starting to kind of create a story here. You're starting to weave their story together. I liked that here. This almost, I probably would go back and flip these scenes, but it's kind of hard to know until I actually do that, like go and actually flip them and see how it feels. But I do like them coming into town, this idea we're going to get into town and actually finally understand who these people are. Frank B, by the way, left a comment. Thank you very much for the tip, Frank. He said, okay, so I guess we're going back to 2 shows a week. The only way to get through this by WatCon. I know. This is how it's going to go. We're going to be lucky when we get to the 10-minute mark. Todd, what do you think about this scene? I know it's a shorter one with Rand and Tam coming down. Are you a keep or cut, and why?
I'm a keep. What I wish they would have done is at least, they didn't necessarily have to show the mirror draw, but at least a flash of something would have been nice. And I kind of agree with Tal. I wanted Tam to be sturdier. You know, they talk about him being not tall, but a heavy, you know, a thick, strong man. And that's kind of what I wanted to see. But that's not really a big deal. I like the scene overall. I was okay with it. I was actually, this is one that made me keep on watching because I had almost turned it off.
Oh, interesting. Okay, this scene kind of kept you in. Okay. By the way, 170 of you or so voted on the last scene, scene 5 of episode 1, which was Egwene in the river, and 94% of you said keep it. That's our highest vote, by the way, so far tonight. 94% of you really liked that, which is interesting again because I heard a lot of negativity around that scene. So. Interesting. I saw, here's some comments from fans. I really loved the "your mother could drink" comment. Tam's spear disappears right after he says something's pushing them down from the mountains. Does it really? Oh, I got to go back and look at that. A continuity error. I got to go check it out. Winter's Lady said,
I hated the drinking comment.
Oh, you hated it? Oh. Winter's Lady said, but now I see baby Rand crying too, and I'm just crying too. Rand is so soft and pure versus future Darth Rand from Jessica. Anas said this is the first book to show scene from, albeit a change a little bit from a visual perspective. This made it feel real. Yeah, this really kind of engaged me as a book reader in this moment. It made it feel real. A fade here, some hint of it might have been nice. But him saying, we all knew what he was trying to allude to. It didn't bother me that wasn't there. It was like, oh, I get what they're alluding to. I like this particular scene itself. Seems like we're all keeps for this one. Yeah, this is a keep for us. Let's see what the fans have to say. This is scene 6 that you just watched, everybody. Are you a keep on this one? Keep this one between Rand and Tam here. Keep it or cut it. Okay, so we're just about at the 8-minute mark. We're going to keep going here. We might get a call in. We might go a little bit longer. We might maybe 15 minutes over. I want us to at least get to 10, if not 12 minutes. So we'll try to speed it up a little bit. But this is fun, kind of going through and noticing or kind of talking through why this was effective or was not as book readers from a scene by scene perspective. So let me get us to the next scene here, everybody. And okay, here we go. And this one's gonna be really short, but I want to do this as a separate scene because I want to get your thoughts here. Okay, so we're going to stop right there. I know it seems like, wait, how are we stopping right here? But, okay, so they gave us this really short intro to the 2 rivers, if you will, from a visual perspective. I'm going to ask you about that. So they've talked about we're going to go to 2 rivers, we're going to go 2 rivers, we're going to 2 rivers, and then we get this kind of like, I counted it, it looks like 25 seconds. You kind of get the pan down, you see a little bit of town, and they immediately go into the inn. And I think we're up to you, Natalia, on this one. Do you like that introduction to the 2 rivers? Do you like it being quick and then jumping to the inn? You like that?
Yes, I do. I love seeing that it's at the base of a huge cliff. Like, it's protected. It's a very strategic location. Why they don't have guards across the top, I guess because it's the 2 rivers, whatever. It feeds into that long panning shot at the very end that we're not going to get to till April.
Yes, that's probably true.
The one piece that Mary flagged for me is that their roofs are not thatched.
They are not. Yep. I believe that I want to say they talked about that and why they chose not to thatch it.
I don't
for the
care. I just
production.
loved it. I loved the village. I loved the way they it just looks so beautiful.
Okay, so I liked this scene. I would have liked a longer, more interesting introduction to the people that were out there. There was a lot of people, a little bit more about what the other shops are around there. I don't know. It just immediately went right in. It was like, okay, and then we're into the inn. And part of me wanted more here. Mary, did you like this as a kind of a quick kind of like, here's the town and get into the inn?
Well,
or would
I
you have
don't
changed
think-
this one at all?
I don't think Emmonsfield had shops. All it had was the
so
inn.
either.
That's why the
Yeah.
peddler was such a big deal coming into town. You know, there were people who lived in town and there were people who lived in outlying farms. So I think it was pretty faithful to the book of Emmonsfield, Two Rivers.
Maybe I wanted to see something with the forge there.
Yeah,
You do. There's a whole
do.
battle in the forge.
You do
Yeah,
later
yeah,
on. I guess
yeah.
it would have been nice to see a little bit of that going on.
Yeah,
You're
the
right.
music was spot on.
Okay.
You know, it was, it had a good feel to it. And and then
I wanted to.
missed even
The
the
people looked
badger.
really interesting, and I would have.
Oh,
I
yeah,
loved
the
it more.
badger.
Yeah.
I missed Matt and the Badger. I'm not gonna lie, I loved the slow intro into the village of the book. This is not the book.
So yeah, there is the generic. Mark said generic village. Could cut. So Todd, what would you say? Would you cut this or keep this? Do you like this intro? Kind of giving us a little bit of the feel of the village itself before we jump into the inn itself.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
This kind of drug me down because they're setting up. What are they setting up for? Sunday, midsummer, whatever. What's it called? Sunday.
Beltane.
Beltane. Sorry.
Sunday.
Winter night.
Yeah.
It's the end of winter, beginning of spring.
Yeah.
I don't know about anybody else, but we don't normally, when we're setting up, go to the inn and throw down and get hammered before we set up for the next day.
Pre-party, dude. Pre-party.
I just don't. That kind of.
Well, I feel like they were all waiting for Egwene, but let's not jump too far. We're going to get into that scene shortly. Stick to this scene itself. Do you like this kind of show us a little bit? We're in the town and then move on quickly. Do you like how they did it? They approached this particular scene.
I like Two Rivers as a tiny, idyllic little village, and this doesn't seem to be that way to me. And so, no, I didn't like it.
So you would cut it?
Or change it, yes.
Okay, so you would have gone you would have wanted something different here. Okay. Before they went into the inn, you would like some different introduction. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Natalia, you're like, whatever. I don't know. What's your? You're
here we go. Let's theory land it. Let's theory land it.
So why?
I loved it.
You're just and before I don't want to get too lost in kind of this only a quick.
Sorry, my face was for chat, not for Todd's comments.
Oh, I got you. Okay, so this is a really short scene. Mary, is this a keep or cut for you?
Keep it.
Natalia, keep or cut? Todd, are you a keep or cut on this one?
I mean, keep but change. Can we put that in there now?
No, we're only going to keep or cut tonight. We'll find out. We'll find out if everyone wants us to change it before the last scene. 97% of you liked the Rand and Tam scene. So this one, we're going to throw this one up there after this, and then we'll jump on to the. Art said in chat, he said, I think Matt seems determined to feel the same about the episode as he did on the first viewing. Look, man, some first impressions stick. What can I say?
I think Matt's being a good host.
Okay, here we go. Keep or cut this introduction to Two Rivers, if you will. What did you think about that? And let's jump on to this next scene, which is this one's kind of our longest scene or our longest cut so far. It gets us to the 10-minute mark. Check that out. Look at us. We're actually going to make it to 10 minutes in this review that we're doing. So here we go. This is what I call morning at the Wine Spring. I don't know if it'd be morning, but we'll see.
The coffins and Hondas were worried we might be without apples brandy this bell time.
Wouldn't want them to remember a minute of it.
Right, gentlemen and lady, I want to thank you all very much for bearing with me tonight. Can't imagine it's been easy to part with all your money, but...
You'll get them next time, Matt.
Next time? How about right now, eh? Anyone?
You don't have anything left to bet.
Come on, sit down.
How are you? How are the girls?
You can spot me. One game. 3 of us. Old time's sake,
Come on, we're talking.
About what? You're married, your life's over, and Rand's pining over at Gawain, cold in the mountains, only the sheep to keep him warm.
Did you hear already?
Hear what?
A few folks went down to Town Ferry with the wall last week. Town was full of soldiers and mercenaries headed south.
Why?
They said there's a war. In Gaeldon.
In Gaeldon? Who cares? It was Callie Copland told you that, wasn't it?
So?
She'd piss in your mouth and tell you it was raining. So, come on. Let's play. No? No. No? Okay, fine. Enough of you guys. Daniel?
How much money did he lose today?
I lost count, but it was more than enough.
I love that whole... You don't put the discussion guys. It's the best smile.
My girl, you're back. I was worried though.
Who is this?
Who is this?
Come on, man. We're losing a point for every empty hand.
No, you drink with us tonight. Miranda, drink the
Okay.
Can we all agree that Days Congar is just
awesome?
The BAM. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, sorry, I did cut us right before Rand's. Oh, well, sorry. Well, let's.
All right.
We have to see Rand's stare there. That's pretty great stuff. So, we missed the Rand angst here. There you go. That's I love that look on Rand's face. By the way, it's so good. So, what did you think about this one? And I think we're at you, Todd. This whole introduction to basically Matt, Rand, and Perrin here, with also Egwene coming in and to the cheers of everyone. What did you think about this from a keeper cut perspective?
I like it. Look, I've said it before. I'll have to go get the puppy, so it'll save me again. But I don't like Barney. I just don't.
Really?
I
don't get it.
I don't know what it is about him, and I don't know what it is about the way he plays Matt, but I don't like him.
You can say you don't like his Matt. Maybe, I'm sure as a person he's all right. Like,
okay,
Yeah,
we'll
Todd.
go that way. I don't like the way he plays Matt.
I love how he does, and so this one's good. This one is, but the scene itself, from an introduction standpoint, do you like that they've introduced this, this friendship this way?
Yes, and the way they interact is, especially Perrin and Rand looking at each other, sharing those looks. The smile, like, are you serious? He's really trying to get us to do this kind of looks.
Yeah.
That's what friends. That's how friends do. And so I really liked that part, that interaction between the two of them, but Barney just kills it for me.
Gotcha. Okay, to you, Natalia, what do you think about this scene itself? Todd seems like he's a yes, just maybe performance-wise he has a concern, but the scene itself, he likes it. Do you also think this is a good introduction?
I loved everything about the scene. The casting is super questionable to me. It pulls me out every time I look at him. In terms of Bran, not Barney.
Bran is your...
Sorry, Bran Elvire is like hashtag not my Bran.
Well, yeah.
Having never trust a skinny innkeeper vibes.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Like, I don't get it. And also, like, who is this? No, I don't like it. I love Daisy Conger. I love the slow pan through the inn. I love how Uta switches from close-ups to first between the boys to like broader pans of like the the bigger inn and the common room. It's great. I loved everything about it.
This one it's a huge win scene for me also. Mary, for you, what do you think about this introduction as compared to maybe what you expected from the books? And do you think this is a keep?
I liked it. I would keep it. I was intrigued by what I was seeing. You got to see Rand, Matt, and Perrin. You got to see, Daisy Congar. It's always a grand old time there. I'm just trying to think. You see, I liked Barney, but in this scene, I hadn't really gotten my head around the character yet. It reminded me of Book Matt, and Barney played him kind of like Matt's a little shit at the beginning of the books. So he played up on that part of it really well. But he's not a lovable
Solo, scampy scoundrel kind of guy in the book.
He's not your scamp in the books who's got a badger in a bag about to go let it out in the village green to scare the girls. He's not that.
He's the guy who gave all of his colleagues chlamydia. He's not a nice kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Now there are some bookends right there. Oh my God, I love it.
Spoilers.
By the way, spoilers. That's like my favorite line of the night. But you just didn't realize that Badger Matt 2 years later. No, I'm just kidding. I know that when Rafe said he was aging him up, it did come as a surprise. Age is like, I don't know if I would have called that aging up. I would have just said, this is what I realized after seeing this. I think this scene this time was they did give Two Rivers more of a Berlon feel. In other words, when I watch it now, if I think to myself like, okay, they're kind of making Two Rivers more Berlon-esque, then everything, even some of the storylines of the parents and everything else just works for me when I'm like, oh, they've almost kind of shifted the sense of this town, even, that's where it feels like I get this, like, this is Berlon in my head, like when it comes to just how they've changed certain aspects of it from the books. So, but yes, I love this. I saw this comment. This one, let me see if I can go back and find it here. Musu, thank you very much for the tip, said that close-up on Perrin smiling is telling, given the confrontation in episode 7. I will say this whole beginning of this episode does do a great job creating what people may not like about the angst between those two, but you cannot say that they did not give it and set it up here. They are absolutely setting that up, and you feel it now when you go back and watch it. It's throughout all the subtext of Rand talking to Perrin, how they look at her when she walks in the door, the discussion that we're going to see here shortly between Nynaeve and Perrin, and then subsequently later on. So they did their work as far as setting it up, as much as we may not like it.
I also really liked that right off the bat, the village and the people and the Two Rivers itself is not the puritanical community that it is in the books. These people are free and they vibe better, like they're just a more laid back kind of people.
Sure. Yeah, it is, like I said, they definitely made it feel more real, if you will, and not so, and more friendly, like sincere friendships, and people are having fun. More fun than I thought they were having in the books, that's for sure. About 170 vote on this last scene 7, was a keep for you. You didn't agree with me on that. I probably would have cut that or changed that last scene. But this scene, I'm kind of curious what you all think about what we just saw, this introduction in the Wine Spring Inn, scene 8. Would you keep this or cut it? Okay, so the next scene is actually a little bit longer than this last one. And this is what I call the party at Wine Spring Inn. And this will probably be close to the last scene that we do tonight. We'll have made 13 minutes into episode 1, everybody.
Hey.
That means it's probably going to take like 4 shows to get through episode 1. So yeah, 4 shows times 8 episodes. We'll do like 30 of these, and we'll have fun. Okay, so here we go. We'll get into the next scene here as people answer that question. wish there had been something between these two scenes, actually. But I like them. I like them both.
How did the ceremony go today?
Don't know, actually. We haven't talked yet.
I'm sure she's just busy.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah. These boots got me every time. Kind of nice boots.
Name yourself, stranger.
Landmon Dragorin. This is Moraine.
This is so well acted
My
among
lady,
all of the kids, if you will.
Walked right by.
We'll need stables for our horses and a room for the night. 2 beds and fresh linen, that's all we need.
Of
I love all the
course,
whispering
Moraine
between
Sedai.
the villagers.
Never took her hand off her knife.
Yeah. But yeah, rejected Western of time. Yeah.
If you'll come this way.
Definitely some Western vibes. I love Tam.
She looks like a normal person. I don't know.
Quiet. Who knows what she can hear? Maybe she's headed to the war in the south.
I do like that.
Who knows what she can hear, but let's gossip about her.
One eye to die can turn the battle on her own.
I don't care where she's going to, but we'll all be happier and safer when she's there. Where's Layla?
Ha.
Probably at the forge. Iron's hard to work alone.
Dismissal if I've ever heard.
Stares over to Gwen.
Give Egwene my best.
Bye, Felicia.
Okay. So that we've all seen that scene. I think they gave us that one early.
Yes.
Yeah.
I still love this scene. Let me go to you. I think Natalia. I think we're starting this one. Keep or cut, and why on this one?
All of the things. I love the boys. Again, they're so pretty. Like I like the cheekbones. The feet up intro is excellent. If you're gonna be dramatic, you might as well be all the way melodramatic. I think Nynaeve was laying it a little thick with the bitch eating crackers over there, given that she wasn't called child. Sorry, the language. I loved everything about it. I thought it was great. It was very portentous.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to summarize that. Yeah, I agree with that. Mary, to you, is this a keep or cut, and why?
It's a keep. It's a definite mood shift from the party to the stranger walking in. It's a it has the we don't like strangers here vibe to it, but not completely that way, because Marin is always well, my lady, welcome. What can I do for you? And then she looks around while everybody's gossiping and staring, and has this like, what are y'all talking about? She's my guest. It's this way, please. So I liked Marin in that scene. I have to shout out to Chansonnet of Lan standing there with the hood still up, legs parted, standing there, just total edgelord standing there. And we know from Valkyrie culture that walking into a building with your hood up is like very rude. So, but that's only for us book readers. But takes the hood down, introduces himself, full name, no fear of giving his full name, because they're in the middle of West Bumblefuck, I guess. And then Moiraine comes in, just absolutely cool. She knows the effect that she has on any room she enters. She's complete control. The soul of courtesy. Is just adjusting herself and flashing the ring, completely nonchalant, but totally meant to do it. So she knows she's identified herself. And Marin picked up on it right away, and she went and warmed herself by the fire, turned around, coolly surveyed the room, picked out people that she needed to know right away. And you've got Matt and Danya who are just kind of lounging like, hey, I'm not impressed. You've got Rand and Perrin in the back, kind of hiding in the back, and then Nynaeve's still there with her knife, like, I'm in charge here and I can use this if I need to. And then there's Egwene looking everywhere and like, this is kind of cool. I like this. What's going to happen next vibe. And then I think I mentioned earlier, it's like Rand's like, quiet, you don't know what you can hear, but let's gossip about her anyway. that part.
I'll say this. There's definitely I think I saw this comment from, who was it? Diana W said the scene was good, but a little melodramatic.
Oh, very.
It definitely has that. It doesn't feel as much of that as I watch it. In other words, it loses that. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, it's too much. And maybe it's because I did want some kind of. They go from wine spring in the morning to wine spring in the evening, and Rand's like, we didn't get to talk. I feel like there's probably some missing scenes that got cut here. It's just a weird transition of like, we're sitting here and then we come back and we're sitting here again. I would have liked to have gone out, gotten to know the village a bit more, had some other scene and come back to it. I don't know. It feels like a strange cut between Wine Spring and Wine Spring Inn. It was just earlier and later. But Todd, are you a keep or cut on this one, and why?
Look, first of all, women smoking. Are you serious?
I'm laughing because it's ironic, Mary.
That was for Mary. The only thing I wish they would have done is not played up the Aes Sedai so much. I wish they would have kept themselves hidden. I still like the way Rand and Perrin get along. I still like that. I had already seen this.
Right.
I'd already watched this scene, so I knew what it was. Let me ask you something. Was Moraine wet?
Cloak was.
I think her cloak was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious because I just noticed it while we were watching it then. I didn't know if it... I'm a keep on this. I'm definitely a keep.
Ard to Andal wrote, even a group of my friends aren't as dramatic as the Sedai.
Yeah, the fact that she came on heavy right at the beginning, identifying herself as Aes Sedai very deliberately. I don't know if I like that, but it's not enough for me to say cut the scene. It's definitely different from the books, and I don't know. I get from the other episodes that we've seen, I don't get the feeling that the Aes Sedai try to lay low unless there's white cloaks around.
No.
So,
yeah.
And I would say that this too provides exposition. Like the ring is enough. Like she looks down and she looks up and she's like, great. I know what that ring means. Let's go.
No, I see this comment. You saw this one a lot come out when we first saw the scene. Your friend said it doesn't flow naturally. Nynaeve is unnecessarily aggressive in the scene. They don't do much. I feel like it's just the holding on the knife that, like otherwise it would just be, that's exactly Nynaeve's face, as I would imagine her, and, the knife aspect of it, to me, it's now doesn't, again, as I watch these more and more, it's like, well, that kind of works for me. It doesn't kind of seem off the entire time. You did mention that, Natalia, that she was holding that knife the entire time. Does that bug you that they had, like, she never let up, or does that just feed into, they were just trying to quickly give us an idea of who Nynaeve is?
Listen, I think that the show's Nynaeve is a vindication for the character. Truly, I think that this character really, really is amazing, and I think that they do not do a good job of setting her up as crusty at all. And so that it feels kind of strange to have her grabbing her knife, because you're like, why? You were so nice the last time we saw you. Except for the pushing part. That wasn't so nice. But so it's confusing.
I wanted her to be an old woman in a young woman's body. That, and when you said crusty, that's exactly, she should be crusty. And not that I don't like her, because I think I like show Nynaeve better than book Nynaeve, but she comes on too strong at the beginning.
And Nynaeve is actually one of the favored characters, I think, of the show over the book. By the way, 107 of you voted for the last scene that we talked about, the first Wine-Spring Inn scene. 89% said keep it, 11% said cut it. Let me ask you about this one as we're talking. We're past the show, kind of where we normally go. I think we'll stop it here. We got, like I said, 13 minutes in, and we'll get to that. We'll start with Perrin and Layla at the Forge when we come back to this. I'm kind of like this experience. I want to talk to everybody about this. We just spent the last hour and a half kind of walking through and watching basically 13 minutes of the show together and talking about it. For the three of you, Mary, do you like this format? Is there something that you'd like us to kind of do as we move forward to kind of break down each of the scenes? It's hard to we would never get past 5 minutes if we actually were looking for every Easter egg in the scene and we were,
well, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, we'll eventually do it.
And who
We
better
will.
than us?
Yeah, exactly. But this will take us 31 more episode shows like this, or shows to break down all of these. Is there anything else, Natalia, that you would add to what we're doing that you want to try next time that we kind of continue breaking down episode 1?
No, I love every second of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Todd, how about you?
Right now I'm good. It's the next couple of scenes are where I'm going to get into the creek without a paddle. So
Todd's like,
bring the puppy.
The hate is building for you.
Yeah.
I gotcha. Okay.
We got about 10 minutes before I turned it off. So
gotcha. Okay.
Eric,
Eric,
that's fair.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know
fair.
that was, you went back and you watched it. We all, by the way, Todd was writing us in a chat his reactions to it, and it was dramatic. It was dramatic. You thought this scene was melodramatic.
It was upsetting.
Yes.
He was upset.
He was upset.
I was upset. I was really upset.
You were,
Yes.
and it totally. We appreciated
Valid.
hearing
Those
you as
were
you
okay
went.
feelings, Todd.
Eric
Yeah.
Nielsen, there's the comment, said, I would ask you to add change to the polls, but I bet that would get 100% every time. That's the problem. I don't want to do too many updates or changes to polls because as book fans, a lot of us would be like, well, yeah, I would change these 4 things. And that's the problem. To this point, I don't know why Cross said restricting our choices, just keep or cut is not enough. I know it's tough to give you any other options because as book fans, we're going to choose the other options. And most often, I can't imagine most book fans saying, well, I would always change one thing. So if you can give me some suggestions in the comments, people that watch this afterwards, and you're like, what would be a third option that wouldn't just always get all the votes because book fans always want to change things, then I'm open to it. But I like a 50-50 kind of keep or cut it, feel
I
to
would
it.
love to get our hands on the cut scenes that didn't make it into the show and have us
the
go
director's cut.
add those in or leave those out. That would be fun.
I
By the way-
listen to commentary. There's a director's cut out there.
Okay, so MJ Daniel did say an extra half hour would have helped. So maybe we'll try to do 2-hour shows with this format. But I'm telling you,
I think MJ meant in the show itself. But
I got you.
Both are good. Both are good.
An extra half an hour in the show itself would have helped. I saw a lot of comments like that. We do know that there were scenes cut here. If you go look at the extras, you can see a scene between Egwene and Nynaeve in what looks like it's probably like the Wisdom's hut, or maybe it's Nynaeve's house. I don't know.
Miss
so
Sarah
we know
James
that
is
scene was
calling
cut.
me. Miss Sarah James is calling me Sinbui or Sinbui. That's not right.
Yes.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
she's
you
not
called
wrong.
yourself that before anybody else did, friend.
I like Rajes's comment: keep, cut, replace, postpone, expand, condense.
Marinate.
Dale did say this. How about rate each scene? Okay, so we can do that next time. It's tough to try to do that poll plus a keep or cut poll, and kind of keep things going. So
Give the mug away, Matt.
Maybe I'll say this. This last scene, only 130 of you voted on it. 88%. I know we'll do the mug giveaway here. 88% said keep this one. And so I'm going to ask this question. To Dale's point, we'll ask this last poll, and then we'll do, Taylor, do you want to go set us up a mug giveaway? Thank you all for being here. Hopefully that was enjoyable for you three. Hopefully we're back here. How does it feel for the three of you? We're not live adapting. We get to actually judge someone else's adaptation of The Wheel of Time. You enjoying being on the judge side?
so much.
Yes. Yes.
I'm no expert. I'm just a random fan who's read the books way too many times, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. I'm going to ask this. How would you rate the first 13 minutes of episode 1? There you go. And we'll say between 8 and 10, 6 to 7. We'll try to use that same math that we used last time.
Oh,
And,
Dana Luhu said it's good to have the gang back together.
It is good to have the gang back together. So I'm going to ask that kind of, I'm kind of curious if this is going to be the same rating as we had at the beginning. For those of you that are still here, I'd love to hear kind of your opinion. Please do answer this poll. And by the way, Taylor's setting up the mug giveaway. And so we should see that here shortly. Don't enter until you see this in chat. Taylor, will they? Oh, there we go. It is in chat. So you can enter now, and for a chance at winning the mug. You mug flexed. You can even order this one, the Dusty Steve Show mug. Technically, I don't know.
Puppy.
I think there might only be one of these out there. So
Sweet puppy.
Todd's like, I hated episode 1. Look at my puppy. That's what Todd's saying. I love it. Yeah. So by the way, next time we'll be talking Perla and Layla at the Forge, Matt with his parents, Winespring and Cleanup, Bathtub with Moraine and Lan, Rand and Egwene by the fire, Myrdral, Pat and Fane, Egwene and Tam, Perrin and Layla, Matt and Pat and Fane, Lan and Moraine on the green.
Yeah, we're going to go over all of that.
I don't think we're going to. Yeah, right.
Are you kidding?
How many were there? That was 1, 2,
ready to
3,
throw
4,
down.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's only 3 more than we did today. And we kind of learned the process today.
Okay.
That wasn't.
Good luck.
That's not it. There's a lot of shorter scenes, like the one with Perrin and Layla. They're in bed, so it's not like a long scene that we'd be watching. But we
yeah,
have to
there's
talk about
nothing
it.
to say about them being in bed. No,
There's
it's
stuff
fine.
to
It'd
say,
be very short.
But I'm
Very
saying
short.
watching the scene will be very short.
Yeah.
And Richard said, I think a non-book reader input would be a good counterpoint. What we'll probably do for these moving forward is I'll probably try to grab 1 or 2 of these fine folks and have them on the panel, and then bring in 1 or 2 other guests, whether or not they're someone that are new readers or non-book readers, so we can get their opinions too moving forward. So yeah, we'll do these. We'll have fun with that. We'll get other guests. Nerdy Nightly is a group that 2 individuals people would like me to bring on. I think they would be a lot of fun for this format because they just read book 1. So having them talk to us, I think we really kind of about the book. They had a lot of opinions about the book to screen adaptation, so they'd be a lot of fun. Obviously, Allie and Gus would be a lot of fun to bring in here. I got to bring in some previous guests that have been on the show before that I'd love to get some theorizing going on here. So Minotaur said, thanks for a great show tonight. I hope you enjoyed this format. That's great. Yes, Mary, that's true. We won't be showing that part of Malkir's King on the show, but we will discuss that scene. You'll just have to skip that part a little bit. But you guys
don't get to see his crown.
His crown. Okay, so the last vote here. So interesting. Okay. So now these aren't the same people voting, of course, but 150 of you have voted or so far. And we're getting more of a 6 to a 7 rating than an 8 to a 10 on this first 13 minutes. So, and that doesn't surprise me. That's how I felt. I was more like, I think the last 30 minutes of the show, I really loved. The first, 20 to 30 minutes, I was less in love with, if you will. So I'm not surprised that's how the vote's turning out. Let me end that poll here, and then we'll have Taylor pick a winner of the mug giveaway. Thanks, everybody, for being here tonight. Lesbian Nerdy censoring Lan's butt. It's not that we're censoring it. You all have access to it. It's just, we don't want to necessarily cross a particular line here at the Dusty Wheel, and then it's like, well, it's
no
like
spoilers.
It's like Twatcast around here all the time.
Yeah.
So
no spoilers.
Okay, here we go. Let's pick a winner. Good luck, everybody that joined the raffle. Taylor, pick us a winner. And the winner is Icicle 3030. Congratulations, Icicle 3030, on winning the mug tonight.
Cheers.
Yes, Icicle 3030. Cheers to you. Reach out to us on Discord or on whatever, social media, wherever you want to find us. All those links are in the description of this video. And then you can go just contact me, ask around. You can figure out how to get a hold of me, and we'll get you a mug. Like I said, you can have one of the mugs that Mary has there. You can get like a frosted mug.
Let me get mine.
So yeah.
Got a mug flex.
Mug flex. Yeah, mug flex it up. Icicle 3030, you're welcome. I just saw you in chat. I'm glad you're here. Everyone's loving you all have access to it. That's right. You do. You don't need this show right here to see Malkir's
Let's see that again.
Kingdom. Whatever. I don't know how to say it. So Wheeltakes Ulrika said Wheeltakes podcasts are definitely fab for breakdowns of the show. Yeah, I would love to have them on. So I'll definitely reach out to them. So there you go. I like our Dandel said you got mugged at the Dusty Wheel. You guys are awesome. So I did have phone lines set up tonight. We did not get to a call. It's just these will be harder. If we actually do go 2 hours on these, I'm going to take that comment and to heart. Maybe with my guests, we'll plan for these to be 2 hours long so we can get a couple calls in at the end and still cover. We want to make sure we cover that kind of 13 to 15 minute range and try to do 4 shows per episode. I think that's probably about right. So
sounds good.
Okay, I'm going to let you all go. Thank you all for being here. Any final thoughts from you all about episode 1, Natalia?
I love all of it.
I know you do, though. You do.
I'm gonna go watch it again.
Todd, are you? Did this make you like it any more or less, or just about the same?
About the same so far. I mean, I liked it after I watched it again. You know, yeah. I'm just doing this my first time through and trying to explain why I didn't like it the first time through.
Yeah, well, I know it's helpful for people. I see people that were interested in understanding why. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mary, any final thoughts? Episode 1 so far of the first 13 minutes that you've watched?
Can't wait to see more.
Yeah. We'll keep on doing these. You'll see them. I'm hoping by next Wednesday, I keep on saying this, but I'll have a full schedule out of the shows coming up in the next 4 to 8 weeks. I know we want to do metaphysics. We're going to be doing the next Watt song parody contest by the end of April. Hopefully we'll have an announcement on that here by next week. Lots of stuff coming up, but yeah, I'm excited to get back into this, flipping the tables on our live adaptations. It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Awesome. Everybody, it's been a blast. Another Watt Wednesday with you all. And as we say around here, good night from the Dusty Wheel and smash to black.
Welcome to the Dusty Wheel.
Hey, welcome back to the Dusty Wheel.
You went right to kill it. Look at you. You're all ready. You're just done. I mean, this is like this is
really well. And now I'm like, great, my turn.
And if you don't like that, and you want to say, well, Robert Jordan could have made the 2 rivers all white. He could have, but he didn't. So
Jess complimented me on my dress, and as you can clearly see, I'm not white.
I see Nakomi as something along the lines of a Shida Haran analog.
It does make sense why it outlasted the breaking.
Yeah.
See, this is why I have Therese in the show, because she's going to correct everything that.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Dusty Wheel Show. What? Meme Off Challenge! Yay!
Pair of like baby face mounted on like a huge body. So like all of a sudden,
this is not just a traditional fantasy, right? There are sci-fi elements. And just a moment ago, Rafe tweeted something. So let me get my guests in here with me, and probably I would say put in 70-80% of the work. I got to be over the shoulder and be like, no,